wind tunnel right there.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be, late as the stewards let me in to see if it's a bad track or not. That's what I'll be on the phone with Ron Lombardi for Amore stable and saying, do we pull the plug or do we run? So it could be a last minute decision.
Well, we wish you a lot of luck with both of those stakes runners on Saturday's card. But before I let you go, I wanted to talk just about a couple other horses. On Sunday, you have It's Gravy in the New York Stallion Series down at Aqueduct. This horse still a maiden, but stakes placed in the Aspirant up at Finger Lakes a little bit earlier. Third place finish last time. What are your thoughts on It's Gravy in the Stallion Series on Sunday?
Yeah, we're taking a shot. Obviously, we're taking a shot running a maiden, but to be a stakes race that's only a lot of money, we can easily just go back to the maiden special weight after this. So if he doesn't win it, but we're sure. I don't know what to say other than, do you go for a $70,000, $75,000 maiden special weight, or taking one more shot for the big bucks when it's not even just registered New York breds, you have to be a New York bred stallion. So, there's a couple of horses in there that they paid good, couple horses that ran well. The horse is doing good. He's first time gelding, trying to get him a little bit more focused, and he's training well.
And again, that's Sunday. And I wanted to get maybe future thoughts on one other horse, Full Impact. You have a nice undefeated runner for Gary and Mary West. Full Impact broke the maiden in the career debut back on October 14th in an allowance event on November 13th. So now 2 for 2 and 2 really nice looking wins. I saw he worked out just about a week ago. Anything planned for Full Impact for the?
No, I don't know if, it was a pretty good effort. If I wait until after the new year to run him back, I'll talk to the team that they have for the West and what we're going to do. There is an allowance race coming up in December, but we might just give him a little bit of time. He ran a big race. Like I said before, it was a big effort, and he's training. He looks good. He's a nice horse, doing well.
As you decide on the future, do you look at the numbers, some kind of rags or thoroughgraph or whatnot, and kind of base things when you talk about a big effort? Do you do that thing when deciding next start for some of your horses?
Yes. I mean, you have to look at all. How he is doing after the race. How is he training? Is he training the same? Is he training any better? How much time do we need in between races? I've been following the sheep for a long time, and I've been studying the form for a long time. I've been sitting on horses' backs for a long time. So I take everything into consideration. And, as long as everyone here is patient and the horse is doing well, we'll wait and be patient and find the right spot for him.
And I just have to ask you one last question before you go. How did the fedora become your signature? Because I'm jealous. I have Austrian fashion sense. I wish I was a little bolder. I like the look, but how'd you latch onto the fedora?
Going back to the early 2000s, I won a stakes race at Monmouth Park, and they had an overhead picture, and my hair was getting a little thin, and it was a little joke. And my wife said, "You should start wearing a hat." And I tried on a couple different, and the fedora stuck, and so now it's a regular everyday thing. I probably got up to close to 30 of them now.
Excellent. As I say, that's kind of your signature. And when you think of Kelly Breen, you think of the fedora. And as I say, I like it. I may have to bold up my fashion sense. Kelly, appreciate the conversation this morning. You're taking your time, and again, great luck Saturday afternoon. Stakes runners and in the future as well. We'll talk again.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Kelly Breen, again, with a couple of nice contenders Saturday afternoon at Aqueduct.
It's the best place to find your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing. Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
What if there was a better horse player? To have a better knowledge of the game? To be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Birdstone is an outside run. They're coming down to the finish. Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Fall Brown. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Thanks again to Kelly Breen for taking the time yesterday to talk to us a little bit about a couple in today, one in tomorrow, and maybe one to look for down the road. Good luck to him today. And again, we'll keep our eyes as far as Frenzy Fire because the weather may affect him. As I said, when I looked earlier, it was raining currently down in the Aqueduct area. It looked like it may let up about 9 or 1 o'clock. So we'll keep our faith that things turn out all right and Frenzy Fire gets his chance to run. I did pull up the NYRA feed. There aren't any scratches and changes officially listed yet, but I pulled up the Twitter account for NYRA, and they have said that the 7th race today is off the turf. So make that when it's off the turf. We'll be running 6 furlongs on the main track. So that change can be noted. Promised a little bit earlier, we will be joined now. Again, talked to him yesterday, Anthony Stabile, the Big A. Wanted to catch up with him and get some of his thoughts on some of the stakes action today at Aqueduct, including, of course, the Cigar Mile, putting that exclamation point on the New York season. And so up next, it is the Big A, Anthony Stabile. Welcome back. We're happy to be joined now by Anthony Stabile. You see him on the pregame show down at Aqueduct, and I thought we'd reach out to him and get some day. Aqueduct really putting an excellent New York season with the last grade 1 of the year, the Cigar Mile. Anthony, good morning.
Morning, Scott.
Good. Happy to talk to you about some of the stakes action, and let's dive right in. Oh, before I do that, though, I have to ask you, because I laughed. It was maybe a month or so ago. I was watching the pregame show with you and Andy, and who would have thought you're a Hallmark Christmas movie guy?
Oh my God! It's channel. It's 84 is Hallmark, 629 is Movie and Mysteries. They have Christmas movies on 24/7. Except they have some home show on during the week on the regular Hallmark, Home and Family. Yeah, you just got to go right over to 629 to Movies and Mysteries, and it's Christmas movies all the time in the Big A house at this point.
I'm a feel-good movie guy, and they're all feel-good movies. But I have my limit on those Hallmark Christmas movies. But yeah, I was laughing when I saw that. Oh, and I also wanted to just tip my cap to you on Thursday. You were in the booth for a couple of races. Did a great job as always. So good job there as well. But let's jump in now. Get some thoughts on the Remsen short field in here, and I have Kelly Breen on the show talking time. I kind of going to tilt for 10 to turn things around, but I wanted to show the replay of the maiden special weight win by Known Agenda, because I found it really intriguing that David Aragona made Known Agenda the morning line favorite at 8-5. I'm going to be interested to see where the betting public goes. But as I say, field of 5, kind of a fun field. What are your thoughts on the Remsen?
Yeah, my Talking Horses partner, Andy Sherling, kind of agreed. I thought it was a no-brainer. This horse won at Aqueduct, going the mile and an eighth. It's John Velasquez and Todd Fletcher. I think he'll be a favorite. I think he's going to win. I don't think he's a cinch, but I certainly think he'll be the chalk. And two horses beat the field by such a long way when he won the photo in his maiden race. And I know Pick and Time won the stakes, and he's a multiple winner. and he has two-turn experience as well. I just think Known Agenda has a little more blue sky. They're the two for me, him over Picking Time. 10 for 10. Got to deal with the two turns. I know he has the big one slop, and it's likely going to be wet. I thought Known Agenda and Picking Time with the experience had a little bit of an edge.
You think Known Agenda will go off as the favorite?
I do, yeah. I think people see Fletcher and Velasquez.
Okay.
And listen, they've won over 1,600 races. People at this point.
Oh, no. Yeah. Interesting. All right, let's move on to the Gopher Wand. Nice field of the older ladies in here. I just thought Nona Madeline may have play there. We'll watch the ladies' secret going to number 7. So again, she just may have a class edge. I don't think she's a lead pipe cinch by any means, because I think Sharp Star is very good win last time. Can the horse repeat? That's the question. Portal Creek was maybe an interesting alternative to me, but what are your thoughts on the Gopher Wand?
I wish I knew that Sharp Star race came from on Breeders' Cup Saturday here at the Big A. I'll tell you this. Bigger speed in the two-turn race. When she broke a maiden in the one turn at Belmont, she was real impressive. And then she went 2 turns twice at Saratoga, and she ran okay. Speed figures were a little better. But when she got back to the one turn at Aqueduct on Breeders' Cup Day, she was exceptional. Some of these fillies and some of these horses in general, they just prefer the one turn. Her style, where she's 2, 3, 4 lengths off the lead, make the one run, it is more conducive to the one turn. I know people think I make too big a deal of it. I don't think I do. I think the turns are really important. I just think she's a one-turn kind of horse. Is she as good as that speed figure last time? I don't know. I'll tell you what. I've never been the biggest Nona Madeline fan. Stand for the Flags, the trainer change, and off the long layoff. Graceful Princess was kind of the sacrificial last time. I'm not able Creek and overheated. I'm going to let Sharp Star prove me wrong. I think she's going to sit the right trip, and I think she's okay. Again, she's the one-turn races has been really good at this mile distance, and I'm gonna stick with her.
Yeah, as I say, she's interesting to me off of that big number last time. Can she put 2 together out on Saturday afternoon? The Demoiselle, this kind of looks like a fun addition of the Demoiselle with the 2-year-old fillies. Malathot certainly was going to take a lot of action. We're going to take a look at the Tempted here. Malathot is going to be the number 4. Win number 2 and start number 2 with a solid buyer figure for a 2-year-old at this time of the year. But I think Millview is interesting. Bill Mott off of the Maiden Breaker last time at the one-turn mile now stretches out in the 3rd start of the career. I think I'm going to tilt in that direction. What are your thoughts on the Demoiselle?
I'm with you. I like the fact that her trainer ran Milfoy a couple of times at the mile. Never sprinted her at Saratoga. Didn't even sprint her when we got back downstate. It was a 10-mile races. She gained ground in both of them. She ran really well in both of those races. I think she'll appreciate the stretch after 2 turns. Look, Malathot's going to be one of the shorter prices on the card, and she should be. Her first 2 races have been scintillating. And she's got to deal with the extra 1/8 of a mile now. She's probably got to deal with a little bit of I think Neil Phil is going to be okay. I really do. The other horse that I think is still a little is Malibu Curl from my man, Tavi Alvatrani. Everything's been running for Tommy at this meet. She's stretching out. She's a daughter of Curl, and she stretched out as well. She ran well going 7th on closing weekend up at Saratoga. I wouldn't be surprised if she appreciates stretch out and distance. She's got the 3 months under her belt to mature a little bit from the September 6th race now, December 5th. So months stretching out. I have from 7 to the 9. She's going to be the price alternative in here. And I'm going to pick 4 and pick 5 guy. I'm going to have a ticket using the 3 of them, and then I'll come back using Malathot and Neil Foyle. But Malibu Curl is a little bit of the spook in here, I think. The filly at a price who I think could get a big piece of it.
That's very interesting because I was going to ask you about that horse. I have it down in the third spot myself. I thought the layoffs and stretching out off the 2 sprints up at Saratoga. I agree. That's interesting. The 6-1 morning line. I have that as kind of an interesting alternative as well. All right. Finally, let's get some thoughts on the Cigar Mile. The highlight, as I say, the exclamation point of the 2020 New York season, last grade 1 of the year. Fun little field in here. again, talked to Kelly Breen already, and he's going to be looking at the skies, certainly with the potential weather. That may make a difference for Frenzy Fire going or not. Performer, I can't get past that win in the comeback, which was very good. And clearly the horse had shown promise before. So I had Performer on top, but I thought Mr. Buff was interesting. We're going to take a look at Performer winning that comeback. This was a layoff of just about a year, 11 months. Performer, the number 2 horse, wins it pretty nicely for Shug and the Phipps Claiborne outfit. But as I say, Mr. Buff, against Open Company 2 and 3 back, not so much, but I just thought maybe he was the one to play around with at a little bit of a price. Although, again, I have Performer on top. Your thoughts on the Cigar Mile?
I think you and I have the same racing form for Saturday. Look, he's done nothing wrong since his debut, Performer. I do believe it's his coming out party. I'll pay him the ultimate compliment. When you look at Performer in a lot of ways, I'm not saying he's as talented as him before everybody comes looking to lynch me. He looks a lot like Easy Goer. And that's something that's always going to be near and dear to my heart. And he's been good. I mean, 5 in a row since his debut. The race was really important. He was forwardly placed, only a couple lengths off the lead. He was down inside the whole way, and it was in the mud. And we're going to have a wet track. Now, that can change the landscape of this race dramatically. It looks like Frenzy Fire will come out. I was told Friday morning there's a good chance if it's sloppy that Mind Control is going to come out of here as well. That would knock it down to a field of 7 or 8, which is already 9. I think you got the right idea with Mr. Buff, Seth. Maybe Junior Alvarado just lets him run from the rip. I know there's a couple other horses in here, namely True Timber. Maybe King Guillermo going to come back fresh. Snapper Sinclair is going to try this mile now. I just wonder if Junior, and I know this horse has not had a lot of success in Open Company, but he's 8 for 13 at Aqueduct, and he should be the controlling speed. Maybe Junior just lets Mr. Buff run from the rip. I don't know if he's good enough to beat Performer. And he's probably a little bit better around the 2 turns, Mr. Buff. But he's run well at Aqueduct. The Empire Classic last time kind of showed that he looked like he was getting back in form. He did a lot of good around here last winter. He loves it here at the Big A. And I think they're the 2. I mean, I would be surprised if Performer got beat, if I'm being honest with you. I think if anybody does it, they're off to 1.
Yeah, interesting edition of the Cigar Mile. Again, putting a little exclamation point on the season, although the season will progress. And we will be watching you doing the pregame show throughout the course of the winter meet and beyond. And have appreciated it. As I do the afternoon handicapping show, I go back and look at your selections, you and Andy, every day, and really going right back to Saratoga. You've been on a nice little roll. So, yeah, Anthony, I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the thoughts, and we will talk again.
Anytime, Seth. And if I don't talk to you and the folks watching on Capital OTB, I've had a great time with you this year, dating back to, when we ran the unusual Belmont Stakes all the way through the Saratoga meeting now. Hope everybody has a happy and healthy holiday season.
Anthony, appreciate it. Same to you and your family. We'll talk again, as I say. Anthony Stabile, NYRA Racing handicapper. Watch him on the pregame show. Some thoughts on Cigar Mile Day. Thanks to our good buddy Anthony Stabile for giving us some thoughts of the Cigar Mile car day at Aqueduct. Again, a reminder, 11:30 post time today. Mandatory pay in the Empire 6, $67,000 in the kitty. So you can jump in and take your shot there. And again, the 20-cent increment, you can put together a decent little ticket for the Empire 6 today and take your shot. Yeah, unfortunately, somebody pulled down the big pot last weekend, so we don't have the 6 figures. But still, on these mandatory days, they will juice that up nicely. I do want to remind you today there is a double promotion here at the Clubhouse Racebook. 711 Central Avenue in Albany, $100 win-a-bet and a match bet promotion. That all happens again today here at the Clubhouse Race. Tomorrow you can catch at the same football action and all the racing action. NFL Sundays throughout the football season right here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Football and racing Sunday afternoons. Do remember that we have Thoroughbred Nighttime Racing tonight, so a little Turfway if you want to jump in on that. Keep that in mind. Los Al opened up their you can keep that in mind as well. Just I wanted a little note. Mike Smith tested positive for coronavirus. He had a couple of mounts this weekend at Los Al, so he's obviously going to miss those and hopes to get back maybe next week. He has reported he's asymptomatic, no symptoms, but I'm assuming, with the jockeys probably tested fairly regularly, so came up with a positive test on Friday out there. So Mike Smith on the sidelines for a little while. But as I say, the good news as it is. All right, we'll take a break. And as promised a little bit earlier, when we come back from the break, we will be joined by our friend Ellis Starr, the national racing analyst from Equibase. We'll get a little recap of his charity betting event last weekend, concentrating on the Del Mar Turf Stakes. But we'll also take a look at some of the action coming up on this afternoon as well. All of it right after this. Stay tuned. Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch comfort of your home on Spectrum 1250 or Fios Channel 467 and win more with Capital OTB.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, plays, our virtual tote boards, and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform. And best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play. In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB player rewards today and get cash back. Bet.com and sign up today.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Saturday morning. As promised before the break, we are joined now by our friend Ellis Starr, national racing analyst for Equibase. Ellis, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. Good morning, racing fans. Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy to have you on board and talking a little bit about this weekend. But normally we don't go back-to-back with guests, but I wanted to have you on this weekend, even though we had you on last weekend, because last weekend you touted a little bit the betting challenge, the charity betting challenge that you were going to be involved in. And it sounds from all accounts like it was a very nice weekend for the charity, the teams that were playing along. And so just once again, kind of set us up and remind us how it all played out. And then I do have a replay of what I think was one of the better races, the Cecil B. DeMille, where it sounds like you guys knocked it out of the park. So just kind of lead us into that a little bit. As I say, remind us how it all played out.
Well, this was the Gamble for Grayson Charity Challenge benefiting the Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation, which could always use donations. Of course, it's very challenging this year. And Christina Blacker and myself were each provided the $500. That was Team Equibase. And then Team Little Red Feather, which is very well known for a lot of good horses, consisting of Gary Fenton and Kenny Mayne from ESPN. And we all made our bets, and it was 3 races on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And Christina and I had talked, and this is the second one where I feel blessed to have done so well. We did the same thing on Breeders' Cup weekend where we made over $4,000 for the Jockey Club Safety Net Foundation. And so we discussed our strategy, and on day one, we decided to go. I took a little bigger swings, and she was more conservative. And I think I ended up with $230 from $300 bet, which is what you want because you can just give them the $300 instead. But then on Sunday, we discussed the 2 races, and the Cecil B. DeMille you talked about was a 2-year-old stake for the boys. And, I like the horse named Beer Can Man. He happened to be owned by Little Red Feather. And we discussed the strategy. Christina said, that Gary is going to be betting to win. So I made the same $100 win bet. And if you want to show it,
we are taking a look at the stretch
This
run here.
is-
Beer Can Man, number 4 horse.
I lost my voice because I was so excited. I had some money on it myself, but he sat the perfect trip in third. He fit it all. He was 8-1 morning long, and I hadn't been watching the odds. When I saw the total, she was 19. I went, wait a second. And so that other little trifecta and other things I hit on Saturday, both Gary and I hit this one that we paid $2,060 for a $100 bet. And so we ended up combined between Little Red Feather and Equibase teams. We raised over $4,000, a little more than that, actually. I just sent a check for $2,400, so $4,400 to Grayson for this. And it was just a great feeling. And as I said, going last week, there's also some pride there trying to beat guys and gals that know what they're doing. So I won the little 4-man contest as well, even though there's nothing there except for a little boast for that one.
Now that's again, watching that one come down the stretch at 18-1 with a $100 win wager for the charity. You had to feel great. I know during the summertime, OTB handicappers kind of alternate each day in the Albany newspaper, the Times Union. We have our selections in there during the Saratoga meet, and every day the handicapper that's in has $50 to play on behalf of a charity. And I know it's always a lot of fun when you're in the newspaper and you can win a little money for the charity. So that must have been a great feeling to see it come down the stretch and have a nice day like that. So again, I wanted to bring you back on and have the follow-up for people, because that was a knock it out of the park kind of a result. So congratulations.
Thanks. Well, I mean, again, we turned 500 into 2,400, and they did 500 into 2,000. And that's just wonderful because, it's challenging and just lucky, in terms of getting the right horse and the right bet. And if anybody out there has any more charity bets want me to participate in, just hit me up, let me know. Yeah,
and as you say, it's a year where the charities are probably looking for a little boost. And so, again, great work there. All right, let's concentrate a little bit on this afternoon because, again, we'll take a look at a couple New York stakes, and they have the Claiming Crown down at Gulfstream. You might have some ideas there as well. And let's start out with the headliner. At Aqueduct, the Cigar Mile. It'll be race 10 this afternoon. It'll go off about 4:15. 1 turn mile, as the name indicates, grade 1 event, $250,000 up for grabs. And this is your race of the week if folks go to the Equibase website. And like you, Performer just on the comeback was so impressive. I'm going to be anxious to see what he did today. I put him on top. My kind of clever horse was Mr. Buff. I thought Mr. Buff out of the Empire Classic would be very, very interesting. But we're going to take a look at what I think is your clever horse that you're using in the mix, and that's King Guillermo. We're going to go back to the Arkansas Derby. Nadal, who a lot of people at the time thought was one of, if not the best 3-year-old, winds up being the winner, the number 5 horse. King Guillermo is the number 4 and runs second. The knock is that this was the last time King Guillermo was seen. This is back on May 2nd. So the question mark is the comeback today, early in December, and how fit and ready will he be? But I'll let you talk a little bit about that one and the Cigar Mile overall. Your thoughts?
Well, I hadn't seen the morning lines when I did this, of course, for Equibase and America's Best Racing. And so seeing Performer at 7-5, it may not be as playable race that I like because I think he is tough. But I have 2 Wise Guy horses here. King Guillermo first, because, first of all, because this is a 1-turn mile, I'm not concerned at all about layoff. 2 turns, I'd be a little more concerned, but this is just a long sprint as far as I'm concerned. And he put in a really strong, he put in a pair of 46 and change half miles, November 1st. I think he's fit. And the fact that Jose Ortiz is getting on makes me no concerns at all. The other one, and by the way, I think I heard that Friends Fire is probably going to be declared just like the slot match, but there's a couple of vulnerable horses in here, and no knock on Mr. Buff. If you get a price, you surely should bet him. I loved him a lot, either the Suburban or the Whitney, and he just disappointed. He didn't get the lead he needed that day. He may not hear as well, but in open company, I just don't like his chances much. But my other snapper, Sinclair, who's been 3 for 5, first or second on and off track, he hasn't run an Aqueduct, but in the winter at Oaklawn, I mean, he ran big. He got up 3-length lead, lost by a neck in the 5th season stakes in January on a sloppy track. And then again in the Essex, he ran second to Night Ops after leading most of the way. And he's coming in off a couple of deceptive races on grass. I think it's one of the reasons why he's probably double digits in the morning line He ran second and third with Leparoux and Saez. One's the Tourist Mile, which turned out to be a pretty good race because Ivar came back to win the Shadwell. And then another one at Churchill Turf. So sloppy dirt is to his liking, and he's a city zip anyway, which you expected like the slop. So I think I'm going to key him in Exactas, box him with Performer 3-1, and box him with King Guillermo 3-6, and that's the way to make money. I still might make a win bet on King Guillermo, though, because I think he is pretty good here. Performer could be something special, though.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see what he does here in the second start back of the season. I had Snapper Sinclair at the bottom of my mix. That's a horse I've always liked. I just could not leave him out. So I'll be rooting for that one to get a little race earlier on the card. For the police grade 2 event, mile and an eighth. Malathaat clearly is going to attract a lot of attention off the first 2 starts for Todd Pletcher, including the win in the Tempted. I am going to top with Millview, the Bill Mott runner, who broke the maiden in the second start last time, stretches out off the 2 one-turn miles. I think he's interesting. I have Malathaat in the third spot. But I wanted to take a look at maybe another kind of clever horse. Mike Callahan and I did the stakes preview for the weekend, and we both thought maybe Malibu Curl could be an interesting alternative if you wanted to play around. We're going to take a look at the September 6th Saratoga Maiden Breaker. Malibu Curl is going to be the number 5 in here. Couple of stars was nice improvement from start number 1 for Tommy Albatrani. I'm a little bit intrigued by the layoff angle of this, but I think it's an interesting horse, as I say, off a couple of sprints up at Saratoga, stretching to the 2 turns. Again, if folks are looking for an alternative, I found Malibu Curl maybe a little bit interesting, but what were your thoughts on the Demoiselle?
I can't argue with Malibu Curl. I kind of said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would not use 6, 7, 8 anywhere here. I don't think they fit. And Malathaat's going to be overbet. I mean, this 4 to 5 line, but she's a Curlin, as is Millifuel, as is Malibu Curl. And Curlin gets a nice number of 2-year-old winners. I think I have a number here. Stats Racelands pointed out 9 furlong stakes, just 9 furlongs only. 19 for 106. Pretty good. That's 20%. And holds a very good number. 7 foals, I believe. 5 of them have won stakes as 2-year-olds. It's just a lot of good 2-year-old winners. But Malathaat's not a standout, and I really like the 2-year-old races, as you know. Not last week just with the Cecil B. DeMille, but I like 2-year-old races. I think these are races you can make money.
Yeah.
So I got Millifuel on top. By the way, she's a half to. I'm not a half. I'm sorry. I love the pattern. Second, first time out, then a win. Bill Mott did the exact same thing. I wouldn't have seen this again without Stats Raceland. It's not a plug, but I was looking at Mott's record maiden win to stake, and I looked up, and one of the first horses that came up on the query was Lake Avenue, who won the race last year. It was the exact same pattern. It was a runner-up finish, and then a win, and then the Demoiselle. So I got to take Millview. I'd love to get 7 to 2 here. I use Malathaat. I'm using as my little wacky the try, and Traffic Lane, the other Pletcher, and Malibu Curl in second and third with the Malathaat and Millifuel. Dollar Mountain's interesting. I might make a couple of dollar bet to win. That 5-length win was good. Traffic Lane came back to win off of that, improved 7 Equibase points. And I just can't get away that the figure is about the same as Millifuel. I just think Millifuel is good because she proved a lot of maturity she showed coming from 4th in her win last time out. And just that play with Mott going maiden to stake, it's just such a high percentage. He's 5 for 11, by the way, the number I got here. 8 for 22 the last 2 years, going back, maiden last out winners winning their second start. So almost more than 33% when Mott gets a horse off a maiden win, they win back-to-back and at 2-year-olds.
I'm right with you there. I like Millview as well, and we'll see how that plays out this afternoon at Aqueduct. On a nice card highlighted by that Cigar Mile. Let's shift our attention now to Gulfstream. It's become a tradition down there to kick off the championship meet with this Claiming Crown, which is kind of fun. Tips the cap to the workhorse, the racing game, the claiming runners, and it's always fun to see how strategically these horses are placed. Some of them have been claimed in the last start of the last starts, and you have to think the connecting, let's take a shot at the Claiming Crown purse a little bit later in the year. We'll take a look at the Emerald, race number 7 on the card this afternoon on the grass at 1 mile and a 16th. And fun event, as pretty much the entire card is offering these kind of nice betting opportunities. Boy, you can take a look and just say, give me a Mike Maker horse in here. He's got 5 in the body and had 1 more out on the AE list, I think. I'm going to take a look at a replay from the Tropical Turf, and we're going to take a look at number 6, Tusk. But again, this was the last time we saw Tusk. Tusk, again, the number 6 in here. Nice winner for Saffie Joseph, but this was back in January. So Tusk, the concern is going to be the layoff. You get past that, and you look at High Maker Temple for Mike Maker, Mugzamatic, Artie's Rumor. All the Mike Maker horses look live in here. Tusk, the question mark for Saffie Joseph, going to be ready off the layoff. And there are a couple of recent works that are pretty good that says probably should run in here. What are your thoughts on that Claiming Crown Emerald?
Well, it's a great race. I mean, you got 12 plus 3 also eligibles. You're going to end up with 12, which is fantastic. 5 makers, 3 Saffie Josephs if you include the also eligible. I made the race 4-11-2. 4's Temple, 11's Over the Chain, who's Artie's Rumor. 4-1, 5-1 on these 2 makers. I think it'll hold up fairly close. So I think there's value in even a 3 or 4 horse exacta trifecta here, because there's going to be no heavy favorites. And this is a race where you do that. I like Temple just a bit more. I would add one thing before I do that. You mentioned something, fans, if you handicap these races today, a recommendation, definitely look for horses that were claimed recently, because it is with this race in mind. You're absolutely correct in my opinion. Also look for horses that dropped into the claiming price of $25,000 or less in their last 2 or 3 starts. There's an occasion where a guy's going to take it, hope nobody claims the horse, and then the horse is eligible for these races with $95,000 purses, which is, $60,000 the winner, which they're not going to make in those $25,000 claimers. So those are 2 factors. Anyway, back to Temple. Maker claimed Temple back in July of last year. He's done a lot of good since then. Good races, minor stakes. One is Gio Ponte. You talked about the Tropical Turf. This horse was well regarded enough to be in the Twilight Derby last November. That last race I like a lot at Keeneland. October 17th to Segoy, was getting to the winner every step of the way, gets Gaffalione, of course, and they the Keeneland titles on the strength of each other, because Maker get Gaffalione on so many good mounts. Just like the way the horse runs. 4 for 8 at Gulfstream. So the horse hasn't run at Gulfstream since last winter, and those were stakes. And then as a 2-year-old, won a bunch of races at Gulfstream. I should say early 3-year-old last summer, and spring, winter, spring of 19, where he went 4 for 10 on the year. So Temple's number 1. Artie's Rumor second off the claim. Maker again so astute at claiming horses and moving them into stakes. What's interesting here, and this is I guess a testament to Maker and also to watch when you handicap these races. Artie's Rumor was protected for over a year and a half. I only go back to August of 2019. Always allowance races, non-claim, then starter allowance. Dropped in for $40,000 September 10th. Maker to take him out of that race, out of a nose loss, and put him at a 2nd level allowance, and he won nicely by a nose. Now he gets Irad. It's second off the claim. He fits here. The win came at the distance. Horses he's 110 for 33, 9 for 23 on grass. So those 2, and then the price horses over the channel, the 11 for Dave Fox. I like this record of 5 for 6, first or second at Gulfstream, and the last 5 races, second, first, second. There were at the summer meet, took some time off. I think pointing for this race, off from August to October, came back and ran second in a classified allowance. Gets Paco Lopez. And it's 15-1, which there's going to be very few times at the meet where you're going to get Paco at 15-1. So I grab it here. So I'm looking at a win bet. I'm going to play him in exacta box and then play him 1st and 3rd in trifectas for everybody in the middle. For those who don't know, it's a very cheap bet. So for example, 2-4-11 overall over 2-4-11 for 50 cents is a $30 bet. So play a $5 exacta box is 30, the trifecta is 30. You got them covered if they come in 1st and 2nd or 1st and 3rd. And if they come in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, you win both bets. So that's how I'm playing this one, Seth.
Very good. And finally, let's take a look at the Claiming Crown Jewel, mile and eighth on the main track. And Jesus' team is clearly going to take a lot of action off the second place finish behind Nick's Go in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. But I think it's an interesting race. Tony is a long shot who I think has the potential to rebound to an effort that would put that one right in the mix. But I pulled up a replay of Indiana Grand back on October 19th, and we're going to take a look at Treasure Trove. Treasure Trove is going to be number 7. Again, claimed out of that race by Mike Maker, and have to wonder if he wasn't thinking Claiming Crown. Tyler Gaffleone going to jump on board this afternoon. So to me, Treasure Trove is interesting in the Claiming Crown Jewel. What are your thoughts?
Well, even if it wasn't Claiming Crown, it's a great claim. You got a horse that's won 120,000 this year. He's 4 wins in 4 seconds out of 10. So as soon as he dropped in for a tag, Baker's going to take him, and he took him. And it happened to be that was a race that was scheduled for fast run on dirt, so he proved himself on dirt. He'd won on dirt before. He was 3 for 10 going into the race. He gets Gaffley on the number 1 guy. That's my second pick. My top pick's the one Storm Runner for Dale Romans. I think the same thing here. The horse had been off November to June. Came back at Churchill in June in a 20,000 claiming. The first time he'd ever been in for a tag. He won by 8. And then Romans kept him off till November 4th, which is a month before this. So I think he was seeing this. He was eligible for a starter. He put him in a starter on the grass. Maybe there was a dirt starter that didn't fill, and he won by a half a length. He gets the rail. He's got great tactical speed. He'll probably be second or first from the get-go. He's 4-1. Treasure Trove 7-2. Jesus' team, you know he's going to be odds on. I mean, coming out of graded stakes, it looks like a gimme. But his last win really was in a $25,000 one as a 2-claimer. So he is a claiming level horse. He's been good against these. And I'm not questioning who he ran against, but I mean, he was second Pneumatic. He was third to Mystic Guide. Yes, he was third to Swiss Skydiver and Nick's Go, and fourth to Authentic. Those are, horses if he 1 to 20 here. But he doesn't have to win the race, even though Luis is riding. So I think I'm going to get kind of creative here and play Storm Runner and Treasure Trove over his team, over Storm Runner and Treasure Trove, and a trifecta, maybe $5 is not going to be that much money. But my win bet's probably going to be on Storm Runner here. I think he's seasoned. I think Dale sees this. I think he has tactical speed. But Treasure Trove, I can't argue. It was another good claim by Maker. In this race, Maker's only got 1, as opposed to 5 in the other.
Yeah, a crafty claim for sure. Ellis, appreciate the thoughts on some of the stakes action this afternoon. And again, congratulations on the nice charity performance last weekend. As always, appreciate the visit, and we'll talk again.
Thanks for having me on. Everybody go make a lot of money today.
That's the game plan. Thanks a lot. Ellis Starr, national racing analyst for Equibase. And again, his race of the week this week, if you go over to Equibase or America's Best Racing, is the Cigar Mile. So you can check that out. All right, let me just kind of wrap things up here. And again, I'll hit on a little more news. I mentioned Mike Smith did test positive for COVID. He only had a couple of months again. They're at Los Al right now for that abbreviated meet. He is asymptomatic, hoping to come back sooner rather than later, but we'll see how that works out for Mike Smith. Also wanted to mention the Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame has announced the return of the Photo Finish Juried Photography Exhibition, which gives you an opportunity to get your photograph on display at the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame up in Saratoga. If you go to the website, and I think I might have had it up here. I may have changed it, but it said news, and then or you had to pull up. Let me see if I can grab this quickly so I can tell you how to find it on the website. Top of the page, there's an About drop-down menu. When you hit the About, and again, this is the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame website. You can just Google that. But the About menu, open that up and then click on News, and you will find an article about that, which then also gives a link to the application that allows you to enter your photograph. So if you had a good photograph, a racing scenes, portraits. Oh, there you see the page right there that you can take a look at. And again, drop down menu, News, and the top article does photography competition. But again, racing scenes, portraits, human and equal, morning workouts, retired racehorses, all are welcome. It's up to the photographer to interpret the theme, and you can submit until May 10th, 2021. Also, if you go to that page, there's a link to the current photos, the photos from the most recent exhibition, and you can kind of get an idea of the type of photographs that they're looking for, or maybe most likely to be selected for the exhibition. But I thought that was fun. If you have a photo, have a chance to be in the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame. The first numbers came out for there was a slight decline in November, went down just over 6%. Interesting, though, that wagering throughout the year in a strange, very strange year, just about 1.5% for the entire year, which just said purses have taken a hit. Field size, however, has gone up a little. Number of races is contracting. That logically means horses are searching for spots, and field gone up a little bit. But for being negative so low, as I say, under 1.5%, that's notable. Things did go down a little bit in November, however, and as I say, have taken it during this period. But again, we have a vaccine maybe on the horizon, and so hopefully as we get into 2020, get late winter into spring, and time Saratoga rolls around next year, I've been doing it, knock wood, things will start to return to normal in the world as well as the racing world also. All right, but I've said out right along as well, the racing game has done a great job of continuing and giving us some diversion and fun. And so if you're looking at the news and kind of thinking, I don't know whether I want to go out, I'm going to kind of hang out on this Saturday, hang out with us, watch a little OTB TV this afternoon. Some really fun racing. Again, at Aqueduct, the Cigar Mile card with the 2-year-old races, the Remsen and the Demoiselle, the Gopher Juan, and Claiming Crown down at Gulfstream, and should be a lot of fun this afternoon. And again, we are offering nighttime thoroughbreds tonight as well here on the network and via capitalotbbet.com. So keep that in mind. Also, once again, I got to keep reminding because it's a little bit different. It's an early post time at Aqueduct today, 11:30. So we're about an hour and a half away. I believe the NYRA pregame show is going to kick off in a little over 10 minutes. I think 10:10 is the pregame show from NYRA. So I'm going to wrap things up. I'll be back in with an 11:30 post time. I'll jump in for OTB Live a little before that. So I will be back in a little under an hour and a half to kind of kick things off for Saturday morning / Saturday afternoon of OTB Live. We will be looking at some Aqueduct, obviously some Gulfstream, a little Tampa as well this afternoon, and more. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to having you come back and join me for OTB Live. Happy you tuned in this morning for Racing Across America. Hopefully we gave you some ideas for this afternoon to make a little bit of money. That's always the game plan. So again, thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. Again, a couple of minutes down the road, the NYRA pregame show, about an hour and a half, I will be back with OTB Live. So we'll see you then.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Betting.
The presentation of today's racing program broadcast of the New York Racing Association Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed writ of the New York Racing Association Incorporated is strictly prohibited. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem.